Mary out there, so.
I probably sat in the wrong place. Like, what matters? No, it doesn't matter. I can only turn my head so far. I'm a whiner. Unless I help you know.
And Boyd may be absent because he
He was
was
driving.
not at a stationary place. So I think we'll just start and
Okay, all right, so we're ready to go?
mark him absent for the working session.
Okay, so first, we'll call our working session to order. First up is the Citizens Forum. And listed here is public comment on the 2021-2022 return to in-person safe learning plan. And I don't see any public comment to be made.
Yep, and I've had, the only comment I've seen on social media, and I've asked people to email or call with comments, was just a question if there were any real changes from what we had posted. And I'll get into that during my report, kind of the difference of it. And
Okay.
where we're at with that.
Okay, then we will go on to reports, and we're going to reshuffle just a little bit because Crystal is remote. She will give the business office report and the budget report.
All right, so at the finance meeting, what we went through is we discussed, I showed some options as far as utilizing Region 1 as far as doing our monthly budget reports rather than using Forecast 5. We can save a little money that way as well, as far as we will not have to pay for the monthly budget piece, and we plan to still keep the long-term planning and negotiation piece. So that's a piece together, and then the monthly budget report is a piece separately. So we're going to get rid of that monthly budget report and just utilize Region more as far as finance reports every month. And what else did we discuss? We discussed then next year's budget that's being presented tonight. With that, we are presenting a balanced budget as of right now. The formula allowance increase was 2.45% for this upcoming year and 2% for the following year. We have budgeted for some negotiation pieces, as those are all up for negotiations right now. Some areas that we have lost money is about 130,000 in compensatory revenue, 45,000 in interest. The CONCON revenue I decreased based upon what we have received over the last few years. And as far as the revenue piece, I do have ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 funds in there for our budget for next year. And we are going to utilize some of those funds to pay for keeping teaching staff on so we can have the lower class sizes still. What else do we discuss? I received the preliminary audit request list, so I will start working on that and getting year-end audit entries done. And I think that's everything we talked about.
Yep, that's what I have here. Okay. All right, any other questions from anyone else about any of that?
Yeah, just a quick question on the debt again. You kind of ran right through that, but I mean, we're close enough to the end of the year. We looking at a shortfall of about $140,000. Is that what I just heard?
Are you talking for this current year?
Yes.
Let me pull it up. I don't remember for sure offhand what we were at.
I mean, I'm doing a quick perusal of the sheet there, but I think that that's the number. I'm using round numbers. I don't think I should be. And that was anticipated, wasn't it? I didn't think we were going to make budget.
I think it was,
Let me look here.
I think there's a deficit this year and last year.
You're looking at
I'm going to do this.
You know, it was the other way. I remember right, because I think I asked.
Yeah, and it's just each month we ask it, get closer and closer to the
Right,
the
exactly.
reality of it as opposed to the.
Yeah. Wasn't it the other way last year, Crystal?
As far as what?
As far as the debt service? I was
Oh,
thinking.
for the debt service piece, that's where you're looking at?
That's what you're asking, right, Kim?
Yes,
Yeah,
So like in our 07 fund.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, so what happens is we have a fund balance in 07. And so there's like $220,000 there, I believe it is, as of last year's year end. So what the county does then is, I don't remember the percentage now. They don't like you to go too high in that fund, so then they'll adjust your levy payments that they send to you. So
how do you not go too high in that fund? I mean, you have $220,000 in it.
correct. So basically what happens is they
You
will
just
adjust.
pay off more of your debt then?
What was that?
You just pay off more of your debt then to keep that number low?
Correct.
Okay.
So even though that's going to show that there's a deficit in that fund, there's actually funds in there that are going to make up for that deficit.
Basically, you're reducing the fund balance because it's in excess, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Crystal? All right. Well, hearing none, have a good time at
Okay.
baseball, right?
Baseball. Yep. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Crystal. We'll move on to board committees, and first up is the School Forest Committee.
We did not meet
Okay,
for our work session.
all right, and Policy Committee.
We met and it was pretty quick, and you can see the results of our meeting, but then also Mary's gonna talk on the high school handbook. Yeah. So.
Okay,
Do we have a-
Not meeting in July.
Right.
So we'll meet in August.
okay,
And that August meeting, we focus mainly on handbooks, employee handbooks, high school handbook and elementary handbook.
okay, hi, Seth. Okay, well, if there's nothing else for policies, we will move on to Jeff's reports.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Okay, good. A couple things that are not on my list that I'll start off with is summer camp and credit recovery. We had between 90 and 112 students, K-6, who attended summer camp from June 14th through the 18th. There were also a number of students, 7 through 12, who attended credit recovery sessions. How many did you?
36.
36. And that was from the June 7th through the 18th for 2 weeks, correct?
Yes.
So we had very good turnout for summer camp and credit recovery, and a lot of that is through our freshwater partnership. Tutoring services, we're also offering tutoring sessions 3 days each week for the next 5 weeks. And at this time, we have 14 elementary students and 4 or 5 high school students attending that, taking advantage of that. And that's 9 to noon. And again, that's Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And we have Joyce Beckel, teaming with DESA through Northland Counseling to provide some SEL group and individual sessions. And that's 2 days each week with some social emotional learning. And a lot of what the tutoring services is going to be paid through some of our ESSER funds for mental health services and learning loss.
Is that a catch up due to the
Yeah.
COVID? And so
Yeah.
is it something that you could foresee continuing in the future?
Well, right now we're funding with one-time ESSER dollars. Between the ESSER, ESSER and Crystal left. Between ESSER 2 and 3, there's some funds that over time, so we might be able to manage the money so we can offer it another year or maybe 2.
Sure.
So, but eventually that funding will run out, but we'll
So we have not done that in prior years in the summer?
No,
Okay,
other than the freshwater is something we
Mhm.
started, I can't remember what year it was.
a while ago.
It's been a while. That's extended school year revenue that we can dip into with freshwater every year. The tutoring services is a new thing, so. We had active shooter training here at the school this last Saturday. And that was, we had some couple volunteer staff and students who participated. It was pretty intense, but it was good training. I got to sit in and observe it and learned a lot, and it'll help guide and gear us up for next year when we do some ALICE training. We'll have more information on that. So you find out quickly where you have some holes in your security and your planning. So we'll be working on that with staff and law enforcement and county emergency management. So it was very good training. They did a really good job.
Who did that?
What's
The
that?
emergency?
It's, yeah, Jill Olson kind of spearheaded
Okay.
it, but it was, we had sheriff and
How many,
border patrol and
okay. So
DNR and
how many-
fire. and
how many
EMT.
people overall participated?
Oh,
Sounds like a lot.
yeah. I can find out how many people they have.
Sounds like, yeah.
I think there was upwards of 40, Jeff.
Yeah, there's quite a few people.
That's great.
Yeah,
So it's something that you hope.
you
and
never need to
plan that
use.
you never need to use it, but it's good to have that training just in the event that you might need it.
I think it could
Well,
apply to others.
Exactly. That's what there could be other
Yeah.
things that happen elsewhere that
Yeah.
they will learn from.
I think the biggest thing that you get out of it is the communication piece between the different agencies and how that might look in an emergency situation and how they handle that. So it's good training. Enrollment report, end of the school year, we ended up with 467 students, and that's up 3 from the beginning of the year. High school ended up the year at 207. Elementary, and that's also preschool, was at 260. We graduated 24 seniors, and there are 32 sixth graders who will be moving up to 7th grade next year, and we have 31 students enrolled in kindergarten. So in general, I'd say our enrollment is fairly steady looking into next year. And we've had a few new students added, so we might be up a few. Return to in-person safe learning plan. Last week we posted our plan for returning students to in-person learning for the 21-22 school year. To meet federal requirements, school districts need to post their plan and allow for public comment. This is a tentative plan that will be updated with any changes from MDE and or MDH. So it's kind of a fluid thing, but our best guess is this is the plan we'll have to start off in person. And we will continue to collect and post public comments on our plan, and I will report that to the board as they come in.
Excuse me, Jeff,
Yep,
will that plan be visible on the screen?
yes, it's up there right now.
Thank you.
Yep, the plan is up. There's only 4 pages. Some of the questions that you probably will get is, do they have to wear face masks? And as it now stands, we're planning on not making that a requirement, but an option. And those that aren't vaccinated are encouraged to wear a face mask. But as of now, we're not making that a mandate.
And if it were to be a mandate, that would be a board directive, or how does that?
It would be a
Unless it were the
state directive. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
We can be more limiting, but we can't be less.
Yes, we bow to the powers above at the state. But my guess would be it would require another state of emergency
Sure.
status for the governor to impose that.
I know there's a lot of questions. I've had questions brought to me about the quarantine periods and the 2 weeks and has there been any guidance on
I
that?
haven't seen any changes to the tree or anything like that.
Okay.
So I don't know of any changes.
I mean, even from an employer standpoint, that would be really,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The biggest change is people that are vaccinated
Yeah.
do not have to quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
That's my understanding.
okay.
Unless you
Confirm.
show symptoms.
If you have symptoms, you can't return until the symptoms have gone, but you don't have to do the 14-day. That's my understanding. So,
Mine too, so.
hopefully things will keep mellowing out and we'll continue the current trends and we won't have to worry too much. I'm hopeful and planning on a normal school year.
So Jeff, in relationship to, I should have hopped in a little sooner, the enrollment report, what was our graduation rate this year?
All but one.
23 out of 24.
Pretty good
And
then.
the 24th person is working on credit recovery on the CELUS.
Great.
Good.
I mean, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I was
So the-
really
the
worried.
Goal still is to get a diploma in that person's
Yeah.
hand.
Great. I mean, I was just concerned about, that there's a lot of students that check out. I know you were too. so-
Well, and considering the year,
Oh, yeah.
because I think the year that my daughter, my oldest, graduated, we were just talking about it the other day, and like, maybe they started the year with 35, but only like 30 graduated. I mean, and that was just a normal year, So I think
Well,
that's
that's
exceptional,
awesome.
actually.
Mary did an excellent job making sure those kids, she wasn't probably very popular with the
They'll thank you down the road.
Yeah, some kids
They
do.
already
Yeah.
came and thanked me prior to
Yeah.
graduation, so that meant the world to
Yeah.
me.
Did that take a whip or did it take just encouragement? Did you?
A little of both.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
Every tool, guilt, Yeah.
Sat down, put a plan together and just constantly having that conversation and helping us see you're making progress and it's doable. I mean, for some of them, it was a pretty steep hill, but they did it.
Some of them started digging their hole well before COVID, so it's not just because of
Yeah.
COVID, but some of them
But I mean, I just think that's very commendable. Thank you.
Yes,
did a wonderful
yes.
job with those kids, so. Staffing update, we have offered the Community Education Services Activities Director position to Samantha Lyon. And she has verbally accepted the position. It's a 0.625 FTE. And she'll be at step 1 of the ASME contract with an annual salary of $36,725 for a 200-day contract. We are now, since my report last week, up to 3 applications for the Dean of Students. And I've extended that application deadline through July 9th. And we will review applications on July 12th and we'll conduct interviews on July 20th. And I hope to have a good candidate to recommend for the board to hire the next July board meeting. High school math, anything yet? Okay, I ask her about every 20 minutes. So we're still looking into that and looking at options that we can explore in case we do not get a fully licensed applicant.
Can we as a board offer more money, for instance, to advertise or, I mean, obviously you have better idea what you should be doing to find those people, but
I'm not sure advertising is our problem. I know there's several schools around us even that are looking for math people. So I think it's a matter of word of mouth, get creative, and just keep searching.
We do have a few viable options. We do have a plan B here that we're looking at with moving certain staff that hold certain licenses. So, but our goal is still to get a fully licensed math teacher. So, and I've always felt being lucky sometimes is better than being good. So hopefully we'll get lucky and someone will come out. We've been fortunate with filling positions in the past and I anticipate good luck to continue.
if you get a capable individual, can you get a waiver fairly easily for it?
Yep.
I think of kids who may want to come back, that kind of thing, who have that background, or at least are closer to it than people my age.
Yep, community expert type.
Yeah.
Yep, so there's ways to get someone in there. So we still have time. Resignations, I did receive a resignation email, and this is a formal letter, will be at the July meeting, but Michaela Munson, grade 4 teacher, has taken a position in Aiken, I believe. Might be closer to her family. So I did start advertising that, and we'll accept applications through the 14th, and the following week is when we'll do interviews. And again, I plan to have a recommendation for that position in July.
Is the experience better with the elementary ed as far as applicants?
I used to say yes. Used to be you'd get a stack of 30, 40 applications.
Well,
I
I
think
know
the
that.
last one we did a couple years ago, we had like 5. So it's tough finding.
Yeah, but at least you get a few more.
So I will be able to fill it one way or another. Legislative update. The House and Senate did reach an agreement on the E12 appropriations bill. Thank goodness. The original target agreed to at the end of the regular session was 525 million, and that was increased to 554 million. Key provisions that will have impact for Lake of the Woods is the formula increase of 2.45 for fiscal year 22 and 2% for fiscal year 23. There was an appropriation of 10.425 million for fiscal year 22 in cross subsidy reduction aid. And that's for special education. I don't have a dollar amount on how that will impact, but anything that they can do to offset that extra special ed cost is helpful. And then it expanded for 2 more years our VPK dollars, and we're one of the districts that are on the bubble. We weren't in the first round of VPK schools. We were in the second round, so that's been something that's been renewed. So that's been renewed for 2 more years. I wish they would just take all of us and grandfather us in, but they haven't done that yet. Child care center update. We're still looking at budget gap and staffing and feasibility. It's small school, small community. It can be challenging to have a child care center, whether it's private or run by the school. I haven't given up hope. I think there's ways that we can do it. Kellier Public School runs it, Rothsay Public School in Montevideo. So I'll be reaching out to those districts to see how they run those through their community ed department. And the committee will be meeting tomorrow morning to review an updated budget projection. So I'll keep you posted on that.
I've heard that it's getting closer all the time.
Yep. I think we can do it, and it might be one of those deals where you say because we're gonna probably have to look at some outside entities to help fund it. And it's hard to ask entities to fund it permanently or long-term, but maybe we do. Can you commit for 3 years? Let's give it a 3-year trial, see what happens, and we can go from that. So
You're talking entities like the county.
could be the county, could be businesses like ANI or the hospital. I mean, there's
Lakewood, the Regional Healthcare
also.
Foundation maybe,
Yeah, so we're looking at those kinds
because
of
I'm sure that they're,
resources.
you know, they have issues, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're all having issues with
Yeah, oh,
keeping
yeah.
people able to come to work and have adequate daycare. So I'm pretty optimistic. It probably would be January would be probably like the earliest that we would really
So
have it up
then
and
you would
running.
hire a director and,
The director may run out of the district office. As far as the school's contribution, there would be some hiring of staffing, teaching staff and
Right.
support staff.
Yep.
And it might be like a quasi teacher director, but a lot of the financial and payroll stuff and a lot of that's going to be run through the district office.
right, yeah.
And kind of dispersed among some of the staff in the
Yep.
office there, so. that's probably how we're gonna be able to afford to do it. 'cause
Are you doing 2 daycares within the school now or just
We
one?
still have the 2 daycares in the same rooms, so,
I wasn't sure how many there was.
yep. So, and we're looking at, we'll see what happens to the childcare center as far as the before and after school care
Yeah.
that we're looking at exploring too, so. My schedule, I sent that out last week. I've added a few things, taking a few vacation days, Thursday, Friday. Tomorrow I'll take off at noon. Then I'm taking an extended vacation to South Dakota, July 23rd through August 6th. I think they have cell phone service out there, so if you need anything, I'll probably be sitting on the back of a horse, so if I don't get back to you.
where
right
you
away-
are. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So for that goes over the July board meeting. So I've asked Ms. Merchant to sit in my place for that board meeting. And just plan on having her run the meeting if the board is okay with that. Even if I can zoom in, I can be there for questions and stuff, but I'll just kind of let her take over that meeting if the board's okay with that. As far as July board meetings, I think policy's not meeting. I'm not sure where we're at with school forest. It might be a good July for everyone just not to have any more meetings than you have to have. So
You don't have any negotiation dates.
I'm still working on that. That would be something that if we can squeeze in. I know Education Minnesota has asked for some dates. So if you have dates that don't work or do work, send me what you have for the next couple months and I'll try to come up with 1 or 2 days that might get everyone in one room at one time. So that's all I have unless there's questions.
Okay. No questions? Then we will go on to the high school principals report.
Jeff already shared information on summer school. The 2 weeks for high school, that funding is being taken from the Achievement and Integration Grant because we weren't able to do any of the programming that we would have done during the school year because we couldn't do field trips or any of the career and college planning that we would have done. And I was very pleased with the students in attendance and Courtney Bordelon, Muriel Crandall, Diane Carlos, and Jenny Stokey in some capacity in those 2 weeks helped out with the tutoring with the kids. And Diane continues to call the kids. Any student that has credit recovery who has not completed it, she continues to call them and try and get them in. And we've had different kids in the 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we will continue to do that because our goal is for them to be on track with their grade level when school starts. So that is our lofty goal. With a little luck, we'll be able to make it. And we do have some students I want to commend. We have, I believe it's 12 students that are working ahead in credits. They either are working on a math credit or want it to be able to start their foreign language. A little concerned it might be too lofty to try and do that during the school year and not have a study hall. So very pleased to see the other end, if we want to refer to our gifted students that want to excel and be able to, in a year or two, look at college classes to be able to get in as many as we offer in-house for those students. I did put in, I know policy isn't meeting, but I did put in a bullet regarding the student handbook and I sent out a copy to everybody. And anything that is either new or revised, I put the heading in it red. Some of it's just information. For example, I think it's important to have our school board members acknowledged in our handbooks. So you are all in there. I put the calendar in there. Academic eligibility, which we talked about one evening, and policy that we'd like to see in place that was shared with all the high school teachers prior to the end of the year, and they were given an opportunity for input on that. And it really goes with the idea we want to keep kids engaged and active and put support in place for them if they are struggling with their grades. So we are looking at study time before and after school And it's not just for our athletes, it's for every student that this would pertain to, and you don't have to be struggling with your grades to attend. Our media center is really a nice setting, so it's really to encourage any students before or after school to utilize it, but to know you go to get that support you need, that will help with the academic eligibility. We added the PBS behavior flow chart into the handbook. I added our school song in there. And then new privileges. I'm gonna call it something new. You know, we are considered to have a closed campus. Reality is parents at any time could, you know, prior to this COVID year, allow for their kids to come and go. You know, looking at students being in the building and safety issues, I would like to see it as a privilege for our juniors and seniors, and that you need to be in good standing. And I put a definition of good standing in the handbook, which would mean you're passing all of your classes, you don't have any infractions such as detentions or unexcused absences or tardies. And then I want to make it so that a parent could do fill out a form like we do the driving forms for parking if your students are a driver, and will be using the parking lot, but that it could be a form that they could fill out at the beginning of the year for the school year. And it's in effect as long as the student remains in good standing. I will say, Tracy really appreciated having the closed campus this year, and she shared with me why in the past it has been kind of like a nightmare for her. And when I shared with her, what if we just do so they can sign one pass and it is good? And she said that would help so much with kids getting pulled out of class and last minute phone calls and things. So we want to look at it as it needs to be prearranged for the new privileges. I also want to look at senior privileges, where that last half a quarter of grading, if seniors are in good standing, they're on track to graduate. If they have study hall like before or afternoon hour, they wouldn't have to be in the building during that time. So a privilege that they would earn as a senior because they're good to go with their credits. So those are the big ones, but I'd appreciate it if you'd, take an opportunity to look through it, give me any input, things that you think would be tweaked. Because after a year, I'm still getting to know the kids in the community, being that we were so isolated during this school year. Any input would be appreciated. Elementary teachers are excited about the reading curriculum, and as soon as Savas, the company we're going with, receives the invoice, and Crystal thought she'd be able to get it processed today, I'll be able to get the in-service training scheduled for them. And it'll be something that'll be recorded. So knowing how busy people are in the summer, they can do the training when it works within their schedule to do the training. And then 6th grade teachers are also looking at the updated science curriculum with the physical and life science making the change for next year. Do you have any questions for me?
I like the privilege system. I mean, I appreciate that. The whole reward thing. You got that comment out at the point, I can't remember who it was, but discussing summer school and how popular it is, and kids, and the comment, I think it was in the guide room somewhere in the morning, but the kids they want to go to school in the summer. And I think that there's a generational thing where you grew up, right, Woody? And if you were in school in the summer, you've done something, not right during the course of the school year. But now you got people who are there because they want to be there, and then also the credit, not just recovery, but the credit enhancement, which I really like that idea. I'd like to make sure that gets out there somehow publicly, that summer school is just not a bad thing to be part of. What's that?
Not just a punishment.
Right. I mean, it had a pejorative character to it somewhere in there.
Well, and I will say the kids that came for summer school because of credit recovery, you knew they were dragging their feet those first days, but if you would have even seen Tracy's face, so when they'd finished something, I'd have the ladies in the library print out their grade sheet and bring it to me, because then I put the credit on. Now, I did not need the kids to do that. You can see what the grades are, but I wanted to be able to personally give them that high five. And if you could have seen like the load taken off them, the excitement that they're now on track. And they weren't all there for the 2 weeks. You finished your work and you were done, so they could see, yeah, this wasn't a punishment, this was a support to help me, and now I can go enjoy my summer. So we'll keep plugging away till everybody's on track.
How are they getting to school? Are they relying on
Well,
parents?
during those 2 weeks, it was transportation provided. So
Okay.
if they needed transportation, it was provided, but now
Good.
it's on their own
Okay.
now.
Okay.
And that's what we've done in the past. That's that freshwater.
Yeah,
So we use some of that revenue to provide the transportation.
Sure.
And that's when we set up the free meals through the kitchen.
mhm,
So that freshwater thing was a really strong addition to the district.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Are the tutors specifically teachers who read, or are these people outside the school community?
Right now, the tutors are made up of, we have teachers and paraprofessional support staff. And I think depending on everyone's schedule, sometimes it's one-on-one, sometimes it's small groups. During Take a Kid Fishing, we actually had more adults than kids, so we really nailed them. They had teachers sitting on both sides of them, so.
it's uncomfortable.
So right now, that was my second choice if we couldn't find people that after the last year and a half, get a little wore out. Because I was worrying, some schools had a hard time getting enough staff to do these programs. Luckily, we didn't, but I mean, that would have been another avenue, is get some community members to come in. But for right now, it's all school staff that are providing that.
Okay, anything else? Then is there any activities report? No? Okay. I see Seth is still on, so we can go to buildings and grounds.
Now, just a couple quick things. One thing I do have on the agenda is the July 22nd will be the last day the swimming pool is open. We're going to start draining the 23rd, and the 26th, the restoration is going to start. One of the other things, I was going through some of the mail that I got this week and catching up on things. We are not going to be renewing the Johnson Control, their maintenance program, which should save about $2,500 for the year. Since we're going to a carrier, we no longer have a need for Johnson Controls. Peterson Sheet Metal just about has all the products and stuff built. They're going to be starting on site for the controller upgrade within the next 2 weeks. And that's about all the updates that I got. Anybody's got any questions?
Any questions for Seth? Okay. Well, Brent is here. And
First thing, kind of the activity side, I'll let you know what Charlie Eck and Wyatt Shaw for baseball all conference players this year, Wyatt Palm and Devin Paschke for honorable mentions.
should we have,
Can I bug you to come down and speak, say that into that microphone? Just in
Yeah.
case
Yeah, I'm
somebody's-
sorry.
I mean, those are the things you want the public to know about. Thank you. I mean, something bad happens, or you can go back to the back.
Yeah, I was just saying that our Northland All Conference baseball players was Charlie Eck and Wyatt Shaw this year, and Evan Paschke and Wyatt Palm were honorable mentions. We had our conference meeting last Thursday night, and sounds like we're going to add Bagley to our Northland Conference as well. So we'll have a full 10 teams then.
And they're young kids, the ones you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
They're all-
Yes, Charlie Eck and Wyatt Shaw are sophomores.
Mhm.
Evan Paschke was a freshman, and Wyatt Palm was our only senior this year. So yeah, they had all had great years. I think I had 6 300 hitters this year, and I've never had more than 2 before. So So, yeah, they had a decent year. They're third in the conference, 7-4 in conference play. So things are looking up there.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Transportation wise, the Suburban we had ordered in May, they, due to the chip shortage, they can't get us that. So they're gonna.
Ever?
Well, 2021 anyways.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna have to go through the process again in July or August and order it 2022. The guy in Bemidji, I think it's Donald Ayers, he made it sound like it wouldn't be much of a price difference. He didn't expect any at all, but pretty much Chevy.
But the specific vehicle that we
Yeah,
approved is not available.
they just closed out all the orders and said we can't get them
Okay.
anymore.
Wow.
Community ed wise, we still have 4 baseball teams playing travel ball right now, and our softball team is going as well, and they're due to wrap up about the middle of July. So I guess that's all I got. If you have any
Okay.
questions.
Have you had a chance to interact with your replacement?
Not yet. Which one?
Can I throw names out like Brad?
Yes, it's on the agenda.
Okay, I mean, Brad Abbey, I know was signing on as the transportation, that would have been the one I know you and Sam talk occasionally, and,
Yeah.
so you've got a rapport already, but with the transportation, I just would like to see a little bit of back and forth. When's your last day? Coming up pretty soon.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we're gonna meet up, and I'm gonna go through all the files and show them how things are done, and really, like I told him, he's gonna need his questions answered in July and August and September and October. I'm assuming he's not even gonna know questions to ask me right now. So, that's when, he's gonna call me up on the phone, and I'm gonna be able to help him the most.
I appreciate you doing that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brent and I talked. I'm gonna make it worth his while. We'll work it out.
Well, thanks for everything that you've done
Good luck.
here at the school.
Yeah, thank you guys, and thanks you guys have been a great board, and thank you, Jeff, and all the Crystal, CC, Seth, Larry, Reed, Dale, all these guys that work with us have been just fantastic, so.
You'll be missed.
Yes, good
We'll
luck.
be right down the road. We'll-
Yeah.
We can still egg your house on Halloween.
Right?
And I just saw you were you in Kellier?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I looked at you and I'm like, no, and then I'm like, no, that's not him. And then I looked again and I'm like, oh, and then you waved. And I'm like, oh, that must be him. I he had a hat on. I don't know.
big baseball tournament.
Yep.
We're in South
Yeah.
Florida, so.
No, you've done a nice job, and I know at one of the public meetings, it was refreshing to see somebody, it was, I think at the meeting where you talked about we had, anyway, you had people, public asking you if you would reconsider your resignation, which is always nice, when the public understands that you've done a good job too, not just us.
Well, thank you. Let's see. So on the agenda next is food service with Cece.
Yes. Hello. Just have a couple of things. The summer food program that we ran during the summer school, the first week, Jackie was the cook, and we averaged about 20 kids. And Penny Hurst ran the second week, and we averaged between 80 and 100 there. It made a difference with the elementary students. And then now for next school year, we're going to be running the SSO, which is the seamless summer option. And the difference between that and the one we've been doing is that the SSO program, when we apply, we can run it for the school year, where this last year we had to reapply on May 1st in order to finish out the year. So the Minnesota FNS decided they were going to make it a little bit easier on all the schools. And a couple of the other differences is Jackie will be able to follow the meal requirements and standards with the National School Lunch Program and the school breakfast. It'll be make it easier for her to plan meals and follow and give students actually more. And we also get higher reimbursements with it, which will really be nice because it'll be quite a few cents for breakfast and for lunch. But another thing we really have to do is we have to encourage our families to fill out and I know I harp on this, but we need those free and reduced applications. They kind of trickled in more towards the end of the year when they found out that families could get that pandemic EBT card. So that's one of the things we're going to push is that if they're approved, they will get that EBT card. And also we're hoping that the following year, the 22-23 year will be back to normal. And so if they fill out the application this year, it carries over 30 days into the following year. So they won't have to worry about the application if they're approved for the following school year it goes 30 school days actually. So it's like the middle of October. So we're gonna really push it. We're gonna, and I will be sending out the applications, the new applications towards the end of July.
So I know we just talked about this. So if they qualify for free or reduced, they qualify for the EBT card,
Correct.
or
Right.
if they fill that out, can they qualify for the EBT thing without qualifying for free and reduced?
Right. And that would be, and actually the EBT card has nothing to do with MDE. It has to do with MDH, Minnesota Department of Health. So basically all we're doing is handling the information and sending them the information from our free and reduced applications. But we also, every school gets direct certification from the state, and that comes from social services, the state department and our county social services. So they also send in a list of students. So if they qualify for like food stamps or any other program through social services, they automatically qualify for the EBT card also. But a lot of our families aren't involved with social services. So this makes it really nice for them to be able to do it through the free and reduced applications.
So I think the question was if they fill out the application and don't qualify for free and reduced, could they still qualify for the EBT?
But I can't answer. They would have to go through social services. So they
So
might.
they make the determination.
Right, the socials, and that would be through them. So they, before, we never handled anything with EBT card. That all went through social services.
Okay.
So it's a combined application in a way.
Right, and that's why they asked the schools to help them out with the information. And actually Diane was the one that uploaded all that information from the Mars program. She took all that information and sent it to the Department of Health.
Okay.
Okay. All right, any questions for Cece? If not, then we will adjourn the
I
working
have-
session or,
One thing, and I
Okay.
will not, just take a couple minutes that
Okay.
I forgot to put on my report, and it is action item for the school board tonight. And I just want to make a couple comments about the resolution for the $120,000 Bruce A. Lundstein donation. Make sure that we acknowledge that. Catherine Armstrong was a good friend of Bruce Lundstein, and when he passed away, he kind of put it in her lap. He had some money to donate, and if you were at the graduation, there was I can't remember how much it was. I want to say $30,000 donation to scholarships for scholars. So that some of the money went there. The $120,000 donation to Lakewood School is focused on things that Bruce held dear to his heart, and that was technology, industrial tech. So just about $69,000 of that donation will go to our industrial tech classes and department. And I shared with Catherine some of the items and the list of things that would be purchased for that. Also, about $38,000 will go towards their video technology production class, which is a new class that we're offering. So that's helping that get up and running. And then our new welding class asked for about 13,000, and they got 13,000 for that program. So I just want to thank Catherine for working with me to get this taken care of, and thanks to the Lundstein, that's Bruce Lundstein, Melvin Myrtle, and Larry Lundstein for, in their memories, what that donation is for. So I just thought I should mention that.
Yeah, very generous, very nice, yeah. Okay, well, with that,
I'd like to make, as long as you got 10
Yep,
minutes. but,
we have 10 minutes.
We did just finish up our Take a Kid fishing event on Wednesday, 112 kids. It is the premier event of its kind in the state of Minnesota without question. I'm not bragging that up, but I would like to point out that the school district had just shy of 20 people who were somehow affiliated with the school or out of the core group of the school. And so I'd like to thank Lake Village School, because I think they're all donating their time, taking days off, doing what they have to do to make that work. And so without the school support, that would not be anywhere near the event it is. So thanks. to
So
Lake
is
Village
it the-
School.
are you saying it's the biggest Take a Kid fishing event in the state?
You could argue it's the biggest just based on the number of kids. I'm sure Bemidji or St. Cloud may have some, but Bemidji's is very tepid. I'm trying to think of the word stale. They have an event where they pair a kid up with somebody else, and I think they have 2 or 3 weeks to accomplish that event. You know, it's
Oh, it's not
convenient.
Not all one day.
Right,
Yeah.
you know, it's a different format, and so it's hard to compare apples and oranges, but there's, you know, we gave away 12 lifetime licenses at this event at a cost of about $40 or $470 per license for kids that age. You know, so we're looking at, you know, $5,000, $5,600 worth of just lifetime licenses being given away, but it really does run itself. I mean, the volunteerism is really nice. People come out, they like it. It's not like you have to guilt them into doing it. They like doing it, and the kids like it. You know, they're always clamoring for more, longer times. They wanted the ages to go up, that kind of thing. So, I mean, the whole thing meshes together, and it's managed to survive. Fishing was terrible. The weather was worse. And I think, you know, it still manages.
Almost blew you out of your boat, didn't it?
Yeah, it was windy that day. But, I mean, they survived it. They had a good time with it. So, you know, quality individuals with kids get to see that. Community's got some, you know, little buttonholes of credibility to it. Anyway, thanks to the school, because that's a big part of it.
I wanted to recognize too that the graduation ceremony was very well done, and yeah, appreciate everybody's work that went into that, because it's just nice to attend. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So do you need to do some preparation, or did we just
can
roll right into
roll
the?
right in, yeah.
Okay, well, it's not, do we need to give it a few minutes?
I think we probably should.
Okay. I will take a break then, quick.
How many volunteers do you have, Jim? There must be a pile of
Yeah, I could show you the list.
them. Is it kind of one-on-one almost with the kids? By the time you do the food and everything?
We need one-on-one.
Well, is there 112 volunteers and 112
Oh,
kids?
yeah, possibly if you.
You know, I was
everybody
just
who's
thinking,
involved.
yeah,
And those who don't, I mean, there are a lot of people who, you know, the resorts are super busy. We've gotten away from doing launches just because,
yeah.
you know, they're doing their own thing, but they'll all give either money
Yeah,
or
exactly.
fish for the
Yeah.
fish fry or, you know, breading or whatever it is. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody contributes there, but then you've got, I'm thinking we had 47 boats there, and they're all looking at taking somewhere between 2 and 5 kids, depending on the size of the boat. And then you've got first mates, you
And
know, so,
captains, right?
right, so now you got 100.
Okay,
Your mic's back on.
I think everybody's mic is on. Okay, so it is 7 o'clock. We will call our meeting to order and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So we need a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the appointment of Samantha Lyon as the Community Service and Activities Director.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Trask, second by Ellis. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson? He says thumbs up. Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
Robita.
She's
Oh.
connecting to audio.
Oh, she's, okay. You can just give it a moment. Did she have trouble or did she disconnect and is just reconnecting?
I'm not sure.
It seemed to be going well
She said
prior.
she got kicked off.
Oh, okay.
I think that happened about once, if I'm at home too, right in the middle of the meeting, I'll just be gone and you're panicked because you got votes coming up.
I can't usually do audio and video.
This was the bandwidth or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's too draining.
Are you messaging her? Should we move on, do you think, or just give it a moment or two? I'm not always super patient when, when it's, you're waiting, when you're waiting, when you're waiting for technology, I'm like click happy, like it doesn't work once, so you click,
Really confusing.
Yeah.
Then I shut her off.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, well, we can just carry on and let's see. So next is a consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes, approval of invoices and statements, personnel, resignations, leave requests, and appointments, which includes the appointment of Joyce Claypool as the kindergarten teacher, Bradley Abbey as the transportation supervisor / bus driver, Katie Hasbargen as the head softball coach for the upcoming 2021-2022 school year, and Samantha Lyon as the community service and activities director, and the resignations of Chad Hazelton as elementary dean of students and athletic director, and Diane Hazelton, high school math teacher.
I'll make that motion.
Second by Johnson.
Motion by Ellis, second by Johnson to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion?
I just have a quick question on the contracts for Brad Abbey and then Samantha Lyon, which are not in there. Will they?
What we do with the AFSME, you're talking about Brad Abbey and Samantha?
Yes.
Okay. We do not do individual contracts. If Crystal reminded me correctly, it'll be an MOU
Okay,
in the contract,
okay,
and we can send out a copy to the board on that.
okay.
Okay. All right, so any other questions? If not, we have a motion and a second. We will do the roll call vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Abstain.
Robita.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Next up is public comment on 2021-2022 return to in-safe learning plan. No public comment.
Nothing to date.
Okay. No written communications. No old business. So we will move on to new business. The first item is the resolution for the 2020-2021-03 fiscal year 2021-22. That's a lot of numbers, budget.
I'll make that one.
We have a motion by Ellis
Second by Lyon.
and a second by Lyon to adopt the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget. Any further discussion or questions?
I'm thinking maybe that 2020, 2021 to 030 needs to go down on the long term. Does it? I'm just asking.
Oh, like it's on the wrong line?
Is it, Jeff?
I don't know.
Because that's what,
Those are the same, well, those are the same numbers in the resolution.
okay, maybe it's right then. I just
You were
want-
thinking that they should be on the next line?
Yeah,
Just the numbers?
yeah. just-
So 030 is the resolution, 2020.
Oh, that's the
2021
resolution number.
030
Okay,
is the
sorry about
resolution
that.
number 4.
Okay, I got it. That's not the year, it's the resolution number.
Well, it should be the fiscal
I
year
have a
22.
Yeah, I see what you're looking at. I was trying to
Okay.
figure it out. There you
Yeah.
go.
Sorry,
So that's the resolution number.
yes.
Okay, so back up to the budget. Is there any? The resolution is there. No further discussion. Then we will do the roll call vote. Ellis,
Hi.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
and Robita.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next is the approval of the 10-year LTFM plan for fiscal year 23. And I think that the document was emailed out.
Yes, there's 2 documents.
Yes.
And there was a colored long-term financial maintenance plan that Crystal emailed out to all the board, and those that are present have a paper copy. And it's been added to our online board packet.
I have a question. What is building envelope?
Seth is not with me.
Is
Oh, yeah, he is. Seth, the envelope is the outside.
That's what I was
Wow.
assuming.
Correct. It's the outside of the building.
Okay. Yep. That was going to be my guess, but. So on that line, I mean, there must be some significant maintenance being done like in the middle of that plan with much smaller amounts being on the exterior years like listed.
Yep, one of the big projects that's coming up for the exterior of the building is called tuck pointing. It's where they go through and chip out all the corroded mortar and all the bricks and everything, reseal it, and have it all done to make it waterproof again before it decays to the part of falling apart.
Okay. All right, so do we have a motion to approve that, or do we?
Motion by Johnson.
I'll second that.
Motion by Johnson, second by Ellis, to approve the 10-year LTFM plan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we will proceed with the roll call vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
Robita,
Aye.
aye. Motion passes. Next is the bread award bid to Bimbo Bakeries for the 2021-2022 school year. And from what I saw, they are the only person to submit a bid. And,
I'd make a motion.
yep,
I'll second it.
okay. Motion by Lyon, second by Trask to award the bread award bid to Bimbo Bakeries. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
Robita,
Aye.
aye. Motion passes. Okay. Next is the approval of activity passes for the staff for the 2021-2022 school year, which is something that is discussed now at the beginning of every year. Do we have a motion?
Motion by Lyon.
Second by Johnson.
Okay, motion by Lyon, second by Johnson to approve activity passes for staff for the upcoming school year. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
Robita.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is the Voller Property Insurance and Workers' Compensation Insurance Policy for the 2021-2022 school year. I do have one question on this before we move forward. So if the increase to the property deductible had not been changed, it would have been like a $10,000 increase. I mean, who else offers insurance that we could? I mean, I'm assuming that there weren't, or they'd be here, right? Other quotes for insurance. I mean, because that's like a hefty increase.
It is. So were there other quotes? Is what you're asking.
Yeah, I'm assuming there were not, or they would be. I mean, we didn't ask for
Right.
any, right?
Well.
I don't know what other local, I mean, do most schools use them? Is that why we are with them?
Yeah. We have had, I have to ask Crystal if it was how long ago we'll have companies come in and say, give us your information, we'll run a proposal type thing. And I'm trying to remember the name.
So, well, is it most schools in this northwestern Minnesota? I know Voller's out of Grand Forks. I don't know if they have other branches. But, I mean, there must be other options
Yeah.
that are at least worth, exploring.
Yep,
So is this something we can table in government meeting?
But it's for is it effective like July 1? Is that the policy, how the policy runs?
Says-
I guess I can look.
Yeah, effective date, July 1. But you can always cancel insurance.
Yeah, but you pay it up front, right? Or do you pay it? I mean, that's how it usually works. I think you pay it up front for the whole year. Yeah, I mean, and then they would prorate you back what you haven't spent. I don't know. I realize that that's like a pain. But I mean, I'm just curious, are other schools seeing the exact same? I would assume
Right.
that they are,
Or just
but
an explanation. for what
yeah.
this would have been.
So I don't know if the thing to do is move forward with this, and if we do look at other options, then consider a cancellation and
Yep.
refund. I don't know. Any thoughts or
I
comments or?
was thinking that we approve based on you getting a call to them tomorrow. I mean, in the next, is that possible, next 24 hours and get a response?
Well, I think our answers could be more readily available if Crystal is, she has that information more handier than I do. But I can give her a call tonight and try to give an explanation and send that out.
And I apologize, I forgot about it. That was a question that I had that I should have maybe asked during our finance committee meeting or the working session
I
that,
appreciate the fact that you pointed it out.
yeah,
Yeah, me too, because I missed it.
Right.
yeah. Sometimes I should make notes and then I would remember to ask things in a more timely manner, so. I should have asked it earlier, especially when Crystal was on.
Things go up in price, I assume that.
Yeah. But I think that deductible was increased because there was a mention made that we saved $3,000 but if it wasn't for that, it would have been a $10,000 increase.
Yeah.
I think if I don't know, from what
And it might be as simple as changes to the vehicle schedule or something like that.
Yeah.
That just,
Yeah.
there's-
So I guess we could approve it, but ask some more questions.
I don't think we have a choice but to approve it.
No,
We're
I don't-
sitting on the first
I kind of
July
don't think
now.
so either. Yeah.
But at least get an explanation for what's going
Mhm.
on. See if-
And that would give us directive then for next year
Mhm.
too. We wouldn't
Mhm.
necessarily have to change for this year. but
Yeah.
Be seeking.
Other quotes.
Yep.
For comparable insurance.
Yep.
Okay. Well, so on that note, do we have a motion to approve this?
I'll make that motion
Yeah, I'll second that.
with the understanding.
Yeah.
I guess that we talked about.
Explanation.
Okay, motion by Trask and second by Lyon to approve the Waller insurance renewal. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
Robita.
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion and a second requested to adopt resolution 2020-2021-31, accepting a donation of $70 from the Women of the Moose for graduation flowers.
Motion by Lyon.
I'll second that.
Motion by Lyon and second by Ellis to make the motion to accept the donation from the Women of the Moose. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
Robita.
Aye.
Motion passes, and thank you to the Women of the Moose. Next is Resolution 2020-2021-32 to accept a donation of $400 from Marvin and Virginia Calvin for the welding program. Do we have a motion?
Robito, a motion.
Second by Lyon.
Motion by Robita and second by Lyon to accept a donation from Marvin and Virginia Calvin. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
Robita.
Aye.
Motion passes, and thank you to Marvin and Virginia Calvin. Next is the Resolution 2020-2021-33 to accept a donation of $120,000 from the Bruce A. Lunston Estate.
Motion by Johnson.
Motion by
I'll
Johnson,
second that.
second by Ellis, to accept a generous donation of $120,000 from the Lunston Estate. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
Robita.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And thank you to the Lunston family for that generous donation. Next is resolution 2020-2021-34 to accept a donation of $150 from Nyla O'Connell's Dollar for Donuts to the class of 2021 for the senior class trip. Does she sell donuts here at the school or something?
Yep.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So, do we have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Trask,
Second by Lyon.
second by Lyon. To accept the donation of $150 from Nyla's Dollar for Donuts. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Ellis, Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
Robita,
Aye.
aye. Motion passes, and thank you, Nyla. Next is the first reading and adoption of policies 706, acceptance of gifts, policy 708, transportation of non-public school students, policy 710, extracurricular transportation, policy 711, videotaping on school buses, and policy 720, vending machines. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by
Robito,
Trask. Okay, second by Robita. To approve the first reading and adoption of those policies. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
Robita,
Aye.
motion passes. We need a motion and second to approve the first of three readings of policy 751, sports team, state tournament, school closing policy. Do we have a
Motion by Lyon.
Motion by Lyon,
I'll second that.
second by Ellis to approve sports team, state tournament, school closing policy. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Ellis,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Trask,
Aye.
Sonstergaard, aye. Lyon,
Aye.
Robita,
Aye.
aye. Motion passes. Is there any other business? If not, we will adjourn 7:22. Thank you.
Nice job.
Just hit N.